Excellent. There we go. All right. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for dropping into this session. My name's Craig Smith. I am one of the board of directors for the Agile Alliance and also hold the role of secretary in that organization as well. I guess, sitting in on some of the other sessions, the Agile Alliance is a little different to perhaps some of the other sessions you might have sat in already. We are a non-profit organization. For those of you who are aware of the Agile Manifesto for Agile Software Development, the Agile Alliance was formed. The 17 who signed the manifesto formed the Agile Alliance as part of that. And since 2001, the organization has continued essentially with the idea to promote agility and support those that are doing it. In fact, if we sort of look at we recently updated our vision and mission to essentially say that we are advancing Agile. We support people and organizations who explore, apply, and expand Agile values, principles, and practices. As a result, we unlike some of the other folks who are speaking right now, we don't offer training directly. We don't offer certification directly. What we do offer is a community and resources that assist anybody who is trying to apply agility in their organization or in their life, and provide them with resources and a community in order to help them on that journey. We are a member organization, so we'll talk a little bit about membership as we move through. There are a lot of our resources are freely available to the community, and some of the more other resources are available to the members of the organization. We have 3 levels of membership. There is a subscriber membership, which is completely free. I would encourage you all to sign up for that. That's how you would find out about events such as this one. Subscribers get to hear about things like Agility Today. We're probably best known for our the Agile 20XX conference series, which is the premier Agile conference that runs each year, typically in person, but of course with the COVID will run in a online fashion this year, as well as other conferences such as the XP conference and others. We then have an individual membership. We have just changed the membership scales this month, actually, and $49 US is the sign up fee, and that will get you discounts. It pretty much pays for itself if you actually want to attend a conference. So it gives you discounts to any of the events, but also access to a wide range of content, including videos, experience reports, and other things. And I'll go through some of those as we move through. I guess one of the other things is that because we are we are a non-profit, I guess one of the things we like to think is that the Agile Alliance is the big tent of agility. That anybody who subscribes to the basics of the Agile Manifesto sits under our big tent. So therefore we are not anyone particular to any one particular framework. So whether you subscribe to things like Scrum or extreme programming, or in the scaled world, doesn't matter whether you subscribe to less or safe or any of those particular frameworks, we are open to any of those, because we're about the big tent of agility. We're agnostic to any particular frameworks or any particular certifications. We have a community of about 70,000 Agile practitioners. I haven't looked at the numbers just lately, but that's what it was. We are a global organization. Whilst the organization itself is based in North America, I'm in Australia. You can probably tell that from my accent. G'day. We have board members across the world, including one in India, as well as in places like South Africa, the UK, South America, and North America. We have 2 affiliates currently, 2 affiliate branches of the Alliance, one based in Brazil, one based in New Zealand. And we have member groups across the world in all sorts of different ranges, ranging from meetups to initiatives and lots of other things. We currently support, at least talking about India, we support at least 9 local Indian groups, community groups. So if you've been to a meetup, you might see the Agile Alliance logo. That's about 10,000 members within those groups. And yeah, I guess we have a lot of services that that you may be interested in as you continue to grow your knowledge or grow your need to interact with other people. So if it's okay, maybe I'll tell you a little bit about some of the things that we have and help you maybe explore our services if you hit our website, because sometimes it can be a little bewildering. There's so much stuff that you can get hold of. So I guess if you'd like to follow along, you can follow along. I'm actually looking at the website as I kind of talk to you here. But I think one of the most used resources we have is our Agile glossary. We actually look at what people use. Sometimes if you're after a term or some sort of learning, you might fall to one of the frameworks, but you're not sure if that's specific to that framework or specific to perhaps a particular author if you look it up on a book or a website. So we have quite a large glossary of what just basic terms mean. And if you go to our glossary site, you'll see it's A to Z. And quite clear definitions. And a lot of people use these when they're trying to build their own artifacts inside their organization as to what Agile means. So that's a great resource. And there's a lot of things there for principles, for basic principles for people to learn. We also have an Agile subway map there as well that kind of gives you a bit of a guide. So there's a lot of introductory videos and glossaries and things just to get you up to speed. If you want to go a little deeper, we have a lot of content. We've obviously run conferences. Our first Agile Alliance conference was back in 2006, and since that point we've been collecting material from a number of the sessions over the years. So there is a wide range of videos from all the major speakers that names that you probably know, books that you might have read, or people you may have heard of, and some great sessions. Things like the keynote talks from a number of our conferences are actually freely available to anybody. I encourage you to go and take a look at those. I'm constantly referring people when I teach Agile classes myself to those videos. I was talking about people like Kim Scott, who wrote the Radical Candor book just the other day in a class. You can watch her video. David Marquet, Turn the Ship Around. He was a keynote a few years ago at our conference. He has a great keynote, and that's just 2 of them. So that plus many other videos are available on the website. Another thing that people really use a lot is experience reports. Sometimes you actually want to dig in a little. Perhaps you want some research data, or just to get a little deeper about what people have actually done and see what they've done. And so there's a wide variety of experience reports that are actually written in conjunction with the IEEE. So their quality, their research, and also shepherded experience reports. So they're written extremely well. So I encourage you to check out the experience reports as well. I mentioned we have a number of events and talked about a couple of them. We do support, or have supported, Agile India. We obviously support this Agility Today conference set that we're at right now. I mentioned the large conference we have, the Agile 20XX conference. So if you're interested in speaking, for example, the Agile 2021 conference is virtual, and at the moment the call for speakers is open. So maybe that's something that you're interested in, to get your voice and your content heard. And if you're someone who just wants to come and see what it's all about, I said particularly this year, because in previous years you would have had to have traveled to North America, which for some of us is a long haul. I know that from being from Australia. It's for most of you being in India, that's fairly much the same. But being virtual this year, it's great. You've got the ability to meet with the Agile tribe. So that may be something of interest to you. The XP Extreme Programming Conference, we also support that conference. That also is virtual this year. That's more about academic research and how academia meets the industry. But again, some very interesting sessions. The sessions, say from last year, are already online. You can go and take a look at those as well. So a lot of content, I guess. We have podcasts. We have an Agile Coaching Network podcast that runs regularly. You can watch it live. You can watch it on replay via via your favorite favorite podcasting client. We also have a number of webcasts. We've been looking at some key topics lately, including remote work. For a lot of us, we're working from home or working remotely, and so there's some great content there. Also, in the case of diversity and Black Lives Matter as well. So some great content in webcasts, and they're constantly available. And also around agile development, we have a series called Deliver Agile, which is our technical conference. So for those of you that have a technical background, some great content around that, and events continuing to happen this year as well. And the other thing, I guess, happening this month alongside Agility Today across the world is the Agile 20 Reflect Festival, and the Agile Alliance is a supporter of that as well. So a lot of great content from all over the world that that you can actually access for free. And so we support a lot of community initiatives, which kind of brings me to the next thing that you may be interested in. We have this, I guess, as part of giving back to the community, because we are a non-profit organization. So anything that we make out of memberships or conferences, it's about giving it back to support agility. And one of the key things we've done since I guess the beginning of the Alliance is this idea of member initiatives. So anyone who is a member of the Agile Alliance can propose a member initiative. In other words, something where they would like to support the Agile community, where they may need support either from a marketing or a larger umbrella, or even if you do need funding to support your initiative. And so if you go to the Community Member Initiatives tab in the website, what you'll see is a number of initiatives. There's about 15 or 20 of them, I think, that are active right now in a whole bunch of different spaces. Different members from across the world are leading those. So things like Agile Coach Camps. Agile Coach Camps around the world, we support those. If you're running a conference, we have the ability for you to get assistance, particularly if you're a new conference, to get off the ground, to help with just some of those expenses that you might need. If you'd like to run an Agile open space, there is an initiative that supports Agile open spaces around the world. If you run a community group, there's a couple of things that support your meetup. We support, you can ask for support to get speakers to your meetup, particularly in the days when we traveled. That might help with some funds to help somebody travel in this day and age of where we're more remote. It might just help in order to support somebody to speak at your meetup. If you do run a meetup, we have the Community Group Support Initiative. That's actually an initiative that I co-operate. We support member groups by bringing meetup organizers together, and also supporting them with their meetup fees, which is only a small amount, but but it's something that often those members are supporting themselves. Another thing that I'm actually doing, if you're in Shane's session from IC Agile just before, Shane and I are running an initiative around Agile coaching ethics for the Agile coaches, creating a code of ethics for coaching. So that's an initiative. The Agile Manifesto has been translated into 40-something languages. That's an initiative. You get the idea. There's lots of these things, and I guess things like growing racial equity and emerging economies. So the Emerging Economies Initiative started in South Africa, really to help the African continent in helping to move that, but it's now moved to other parts of the continent as well, and maybe something that you're interested in. But they're the ones that are already running, right? We're always looking for new initiatives. One of the new ones is something called the Principle 12 Initiative, which is all about, if you are aware of the manifesto, it's essentially about continuous improvement and retrospectives. That's a brand new initiative that Enrico Tiotti from our community has just kicked off. So if you have an idea, you need some support. We all need to come together to help change the world and make things better. So that's what the Agile Alliance is here to support. So that's member initiatives. That's probably there's lots of other things I guess we do, but I guess I'll stop with the sort of that for now and turn it over to any questions you might have. I guess I'll just end by saying that please consider being a member. You can start with a subscriber membership, which is completely free. You can do that now, and you'll be updated on great events that are happening. But you'll be supporting the Agile community if you consider the membership. It's a reasonably low amount per year and access to a lot of great resources. So that's pretty much the blurb. If anyone has any questions, I'm willing to take them now. If you'd like to run off to another session, that's okay as well. There's plenty of other things happening at the same time.
So, Craig, you mentioned that members can propose, any initiative, or if they want to, any kind of proposals, if they have, they can share. So, how that can be done? Because yes, being part of Agility Fest, we already have got that membership. So, I would like to know that how we can propose those initiatives, or we have some ideas if we want to conceptualize them with the support of Agile Alliance. How that can be done?
Yeah, that's a good point, by the way. That but it's by attending this, you actually get a Agile Alliance membership, which is great. So if you go to the website, there's basically a form for you to fill out. But where you really need to start is, what is your idea? What is the idea? What is something that you're trying to do? Now, I think they sort of fall into two categories. There's sometimes something you're trying to do for the community. So that's things like I mentioned, the community group support initiative that helps meetups, the support initiatives that helps with things like Agile Open and Agile conferences and things like that, where it's supporting events that might be occurring in a place. And then the second is things where it's about maybe there's a gap in perhaps content, or you want to bring together a group of people to solve a problem. So something like the Agile Coaching Ethics Initiative is a good example of that, where it's brought together a diverse set of people from across the globe who were interested in ensuring that Agile coaching is treated more professionally. So they've met under that, and that's actually an example of an initiative that actually up until now hasn't required any funding. It's not something that actually needed any money. It's all virtual, but the Agile Alliance was the banner that made it not something just lived on somebody's individual blog website, because there's been a few attempts before, but it actually gives it some structure because it's actually under the auspices of the Alliance. So it's there and open for anybody to review. The Principle 12 initiative is another good example of that, where it's about trying to spread some knowledge. So, and in the past, there's been initiatives, for example, on technical debt and agile accounting principles that have created some really great content in the past. So, it could be either of those things. What is the thing you want to give back to the community? Once you have thought about what your idea is, well, then you can basically fill out a form. You fill out a form that goes to the Agile Alliance for review to make sure that it's something that meets all our meets our criteria. They'll talk you through that process, and that's pretty much it. It's reasonably straightforward, but it's about having a good idea. That's the key. Any other questions?
So Craig, Ashutosh here. Can you hear me?
I can. Just how you doing?
Yes, yes. Yeah, hi. I'm doing good. Hope you're doing good.
I am. Thank you.
Yeah. So I just want to understand more about this coaches camp. So I mean, if we want to organize one, what is the process of it, and how can Agile Alliance help in that?
So yes, so there's an Agile Coach Camp initiative. It's run by Paul Booz out of Canada. If you go to the Agile Alliance website and click through to the initiatives and the Agile Coach Camp initiative, you can see what that initiative is about, and get the information you need. in order to get support around that. So if you have a proposal to run a coach camp in your community, there's a big button on the right hand side that says submit a proposal for a coach camp. If you would like to help support coach camps around the world, they're also looking for volunteers, so you can also support that way. So there's lots of different things, and perhaps if you're just thinking about it, they actually have a just have a Slack group of people who organize those. Maybe that's your starting point, just to kind of ease yourself in and talk to some other folks about what they do and how they're what they're doing around coach camps. So there's lots of great avenues there. So the thing is, if you go to that website, if you've got your idea straight up, you can submit a proposal that will that'll help you get that support and support that you need. Or just literally reach out to. There's a way to reach out to Paul, directly on there. Reach out and get some support for it.
Okay. Thanks, Greg.
Thanks, Josh. Any other questions or things people would like to know?
So Greg, do we have knowledge resources as well, which we can avail, which are available for members only, or something like that?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, there is a lot of content there that is available for members. Things like the experience reports, a much wider variety of recorded content from the conferences, and now actually in different languages. So a large majority is in English, but there's also content, a lot of Spanish content, for example, available. As we start to support conferences in different parts of the world, which is great. The Agile Alliance blog is another great place. One thing members can do is they can blog via the Agile Alliance. So if any of you have a blog, you set a blog post and you sit and you wait and hope that about 3 people might read your blog, or anyone on LinkedIn might click on it. But if you blog something through the Agile Alliance, you can share your idea with those 70,000 people, because it'll get shared via the social media channels and shared throughout, and folks will help you in order to sort of craft that idea and get it into a format that's fit for publishing. So also available to share. So there's lots of things available to members in relation to content, but the experience report and the video library is extensive, but also just and then the events that happen live. You'll a lot of those, the smaller events are free. Also, being a member, you get great discounts on the larger conferences and events. So it's certainly avail your membership. There's a lot of great content there.
Also, if you could share something about certifications that Agile Alliance is providing, or what are the most popular ones, or people can go for, which are related, which are associated with this agility space.
So, as I said at the start, the Agile Alliance is a non-profit organization that is the agnostic big tent for agility. So as a result, the Agile Alliance does not provide certification, nor is it affiliated directly with any certifications. What we do, however, is we support any framework that essentially is Agile in flavor. In other words, let's go back to the Agile Manifesto. If it is something that is supporting agility, and there are many great certification bodies out there, many of whom are here at this conference speaking. A lot of those certification bodies and people who teach for those are members of the Agile Alliance. I think one of the things I would so firstly, from an Agile Alliance perspective, just to be very clear, we do not offer certification. We believe that whilst certification is something that helps you on your learning journey and things, we don't. It's not the only thing. Getting real experience, practicing, trying things out, and essentially doing agility is the best classroom you can get. You have to start somewhere, and there are lots of great providers who do that. And so yes, we support, and so things like, for example, a lot of the speakers who speak at our conferences, there is, for example, a speaker directory. We are agnostic to any of those voices. But yeah, the Agile Alliance is not a certification body directly. Thank you for the question.
Yeah, so guys, do we have more questions, or we want to know more about Agile Alliance from Craig?
Sure, I have a question for Craig.
Yeah,
Hi,
sure.
Sue, how are you doing? Nice to meet you.
Oh, hi. So I'd just like to find out, in terms of supporting different initiatives all around the world, do you focus on countries that have already sort of like kick-started the agile journeys? For example, if we look at Africa, you have South Africa, which is a country that is very, well known. They've gone quite a while in their journey. What about other countries whereby it's just starting up? Is there sort of like a criteria that you consider before getting involved in different initiatives in those countries?
No, in fact, that's what the Emerging Economies Initiative that is run by Angie Doyle was about. Is that whilst she is based in South Africa, and that initiative originally started in South Africa, if you actually look at the page for that initiative, which I'm just looking at now, and even the list is even greater than I actually remember it the last time I looked at it. Is that emerging economies includes countries from South America like Argentina, Chile, Colombia, Panama. I was reading some of them. In Bulgaria, the Czech Republic, Hungary, Poland, Qatar, Turkey, Asia, countries like Bangladesh, Indonesia, the Philippines, Taiwan, and then of course the African nations as well. I know, for example, they were doing some things in Colombia. They've been doing some work in Nigeria as well. So that's an initiative that's been set up to help those emerging economies. So that might be a good place to go start if there's a particular country. I'm not sure if you've got a country in mind, Sue, that you were trying to support. If it's something that doesn't fall under that initiative, then you might think of a new initiative that is actually trying to support. Sometimes, for example, even just things like if you're trying to start a meetup group, the community group support initiative will help you, because it'll help you with meetup fees, so that you can actually get that started, kickstarted, and that crosses. I think it's almost 100 countries now, that initiative. Do you have a particular place you were thinking about, Sue?
Yes, I was thinking of Zambia. I know currently PMI is doing lots of awesome stuff in the agile space.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of agile project management. So I've been working as a Scrum Master for the past 5 years. And I would like to see a lot of that come up as well, besides agile project management. Like you said, different flavors of agile. The important thing is, are we staying true to, the underlying principles, and it's not about, are you frameworking? It's about, are you being agile? So yeah, so I would like to see, more diversity in terms of the agile job market in Zambia.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, so this is where perhaps go take a look at the member initiative page if you haven't, because there's actually a bunch of existing initiatives, depending on what you're trying to do in Zambia, Sue, that might might be of use to you. If you're supporting Agile coaches, we talked about Agile Coach Camp. If you'd like to sort of kick off a meetup just to get the community together, the community group support initiative is one to go look at. There's an Agile in Color group that might be of interest, and or perhaps growing racial equity as well. If you want to run an open space, there's Agile Open. I would absolutely talk to the Emerging Economies Initiative. That's exactly where they sit. So talking to them as well. If you want to try and get speakers to come to perhaps a small event, there is a speaker reimbursement, the speaker reimbursement initiative. Emerging Economies can also help with that a little bit. And there's a conference sponsorship if you're actually trying to put together, perhaps a conference. So almost half the initiatives that are there would actually, be potentially good places to go start. So have a read through that. Think about what you're trying to actually do. But I'd absolutely go and talk to Angie or Ricardo on the Emerging Economies Initiative to see how they can help. I would love to talk to you. I'm not sure they've been speaking to anyone in Zambia particularly. I know there's Angie, being in South Africa, does talk to a lot of people in the African continent, but yeah, I would go talk to them. And thank you for trying to lead the community in that country. Appreciate your efforts.
Thank you. I will reach out to Angie. Thank you.
I think the thing is, based for just for others, is that agility is one of those things that we all have to promote, and it doesn't happen, as I'm sure you're aware, it doesn't happen by accident. It requires us, some from us all, and at different times of your career, or at different times, it's the time to stand up and do something. Sometimes you're learning, and then sometimes you're trying to change. And so, someone like Sue, you're trying to make a difference, and that's really what the Agile Alliance is all about, right? It started with those 17 folks who got together and wrote the manifesto that we all sort of know and follow, and then that spawned an entire ecosystem of conferences and books and people and communities and things like that. And we all need to help each other, and that's really what the Alliance is about, is bringing together that community of people. So thank you again, Sue.
Thank you.
Anything else folks would like to know? We could just go Q&A on agility if you like too. I mean, I can do that.
So Craig, I have a question.
Question, but you dropped out. So if you're still speaking, I can't hear you, unfortunately.
I think she's frozen.
Yeah, I was worried it was me before, but actually, yeah, she's dropped out a few times.
And that's the thing with virtual meetings now. You have to check, is it me? Can you still hear me? Or am I frozen?
That's it. It's quite late at night here though, so I'm pretty sure it's not my my connection. So tell us to I guess unless anyone else has got a question, so tell us a little more about what you're doing in your community. I'd love to hear about it.
So currently I am part of the South African community. Hence, when you said Angie Doy, I'm like, man, why didn't I think of that? Mm-hmm. So I am pretty active in the South African community. However, I am wanting to move to Zambia pretty soon. And with the move to Zambia, thoughts about, okay, so do I see myself working in South Africa, or do I see myself going into Zambia? If I do go into Zambia, the first thing I started looking for was, is there a community like I have found here in South Africa? I mean, it was wonderful here. When I first started, I was actually doing a research paper on knowledge sharing in Agile, and that's how I got introduced to the community here, and I got to know everybody, and eventually I started working and I continued with the community and now involved in different things. And the prospect of going to a space whereby, that community isn't there, that's what gave me a little bit of pause. So then I said, okay, instead of, complaining that it's not there, why not just start something and then, try and create a base and see where that goes and where that takes us. So that's why I have been researching, what could I do in Zambia? What is the community looking like there? And that's how I got of PMI, and they've started, PMI Zambia, they've been offering certain courses, but it's definitely not what I've been through. I've seen a lot of, agile project management related, not really specific to Scrum Mastery. In fact, when I say I'm a Scrum Master, that side is like, what's that? So I would really like to create a community whereby, even if we don't know what a Scrum Master is, we are now more aware of what agility is and what it means and what we want to achieve by going that route, and then open the eyes to the different types of careers and roles in the agile space. So it's just I'm still in the really, really early stages and just doing my research and seeing what can be done. And so I'm actually moving at the end of this year. I have no choice. I am definitely doing it. So now it's just finding out how I'm going to do that.
That's awesome. Well, as I said, that's awesome. That's exactly exactly what the Alliance is here to try and support you with, either just with the support of things like content or people to talk to, through to if you're actually trying to do something a little more concrete in that part of the world, because even things like Agility Today that we're at right now, if it wasn't for people like Deepti, who in India, or Naresh, who runs the Agile India conference, and or Angie in South Africa, right? There's we need those kind of people to kick that off, and so that's obviously what Zambia needs now, and I think we forget sometimes that there are countries and even regions, in countries that are very oblivious to this, as knowledge work and IT tends to pick up in those parts of the world. They're starting where a lot of us may have been, a year, 2 years ago, 5 years ago. For me, I've been in the Agile world for 20 years, and you sometimes take that for granted. So every community needs somebody, whether it's running a meetup or something. So Sue, we'd love to help you in however we can to support that, getting that word out, and good luck.
Thank you.
Any other questions, or do you want to have another go at your question? You seem to have a bit of a loose connection there at the moment.
Yeah, apologies. My connection is fluctuating. I don't know what's wrong today. So I was asking that, agility always tell us about how we can adapt, better ways and keep, moving forward. How about dealing with events, black swan events that we just had? Although we, coped with it, but then how we should prepare ourselves for such unseen events, so that we should not lag behind, or we are mentally prepared, and should not take time to bridge that gap.
Well, from an Alliance perspective, if we think back to the last 12 months, there's been a lot of events that have affected us all. Obviously we pandemic related, but Black Lives Matter and diversity, and we all sort of watched that, may have been directly influenced by that in different ways, and so but again, one of the things is that being part of the alliance is is that things don't happen around these if individuals and then groups of individuals don't come together to say, how can we actually fix this? In the same way that it took just a bunch of interested parties who got together, right, to write the manifesto, 20 years ago. They never knew what was going to come of that. They just got together to go and solve a problem and something they were all seeing, because they were all reflecting different. If you look back on the history, they were reflecting different methods and frameworks at that time. And so now, as we start to think about how do we make things better, whether that be in relation to Black Lives Matter or diversity or things like that, if we want to make a real difference, we actually need people to get together and make that difference. And so, as I said, there is an initiative around growing racial equity. There is a initiative around Agile and Colour, even things like women in tech. There are all sorts of things that have been affecting our industry, and we've still got a long way to go. And so, and in different parts of the world, different things as well. So. That's I guess my call to action for each of you is that it may not be the right time now. Maybe you want to be part of it and just be part of the conversation, and that's fine. And then at a point where there's something that you truly believe in, that you would actually like to see some change in, then there's also the opportunity, whether it be share your voice through things like blogs or speaking, or whether it be starting an initiative or being part of an initiative and trying to to make a real difference. So everybody's at different stages of their journey. So as an alliance, we're providing that space for the community to come together and go, what do we want the Agile universe to look like? And of course, then the actual mechanics and how to do that. Well, then that's the there are all the other organizations or certifications that sit around the outside of it. If you want to become a Scrum Master, then there's absolutely lots of great places you can go to get that learning, and as I said, a lot of those folks are here to do that. But then that's only one part of what agility means inside a larger organization. What agility means to us, to actually making the world a better place. So being part of the community is the other side of that, and how can we learn from each other? Hopefully that answers your question.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for answering the question.
Thank you. Great question. Thank you. Anything else anybody has?
So I would like to share that we have privilege to have Craig with us during unconference days as well. So if you want to have interaction with him one-on-one, or if you want to know more about Agile Alliance, how you can boost your career or things like that, so you can interact with him during unconference days as well.
Absolutely. I have two sessions at the unconference. One is the Agile Revolution podcast. So come along and chat to us about how we can work our way through this world, and the other one on agility in government. So if either of those topics appeal to you, we'd love to see you at the unconference in a few weeks' time. Hey, Siddharth, how you doing?
Yep, I'm good, great.
Good to see you.
So guys, do we have more questions? It seems we are sorted.
I just want to know what Gaurav looks like. I'm sure he doesn't look like Bob the Builder with his little hat.
So we have one question: how to associate meetups with Agile Alliance and to provide SEUs for participants?
Well, two parts to that question. Firstly, SEUs. I assume you're talking about the Scrum Alliance, Scrum, units that you need. Don't confuse the Agile Alliance and Scrum Alliance. They are two different organizations. Scrum Alliance is one of the Scrum community organizations. The Agile Alliance includes the umbrella of Scrum, but all the other things as well. However, that said, regardless of what your meetup is about, We have a community group support initiative, which actually I am the one of the directors of, so I can speak with a lot of knowledge on that, where we do support meetups with their meetup fees and organising and put you in a community of people. So that's what that initiative is about. But as for anything to do with education units, you might need to talk to other providers about that. Hope that answers your question, CT. If you'd like to know more about the community group support initiative, you can check that out on the website or stick around and talk to me directly about it.
So we are right on time. So maybe we can end our session here, and if anyone is interested in having more conversations, we can have that during unconference days.
So, well, thank you everybody for taking the time to chat to me today, and I hope to see you across the rest of the festival.
Yeah, thank you, Craig, once again, and thank you everyone for joining us.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.